day everyone. I am Basilgo and I am the first reporter of the art since 1945. So let's get started. The history of art since 1945 is typically understood in terms of the ascendance, crisis, and transformation of modernism. In this account, a select group of 19th and early 20th century European avant-gardists established the models by which subsequent advanced art will be produced and judged. So I think based on the research, Philippine art was not discovered in 1945, and the European and Americans discovered the art. And the influence of centers like Paris, Berlin, and Moscow was disrupted by the events of World War II, after which New York City became the hub of an increasingly global art world, one in which modernist styles were the common language. However, the dominance of modernism, which began to be challenged in 1950s, was greatly undermined in the 1960s as successive movements like pop, minimalism, and conceptual art accepted wisdom was gravely undermined in the 1960s as successive movements like pop, minimalism, and conceptual art challenged its most basic assumptions. In the decades that followed, as these critical tendencies themselves became accepted wisdom, modernism was transcended as in the case of postmodernism, recuperated by artists like the neo expressionist. In the decades that followed, as these critical tendencies themselves became accepted wisdom, modernism was transcended, as in the case of postmodernism, recuperated by artists like the neo-expressionists of the 1980s, or transformed as when contemporary artists use modernist histories as a basis for artistic research. In the recent years, prominent critics and curators have even tested the idea that modernism is our antiquity serving much the same rule for us. The classical era did for the modernists. Like all master narratives, this one has its share of truth, and we will begin our survey of modern and contemporary art by studying its core features. We will evaluate some of the most influential critical accounts of modernism and modernity, viewing these categories from political, economic, and artistic perspectives, surveying the development of the historic avant-gardists in Western and Central Europe. We will define and contrast two competing critical models, one based on a commitment to formalism and other on the transmission of art's social function. Turning to the post-war period, we will explore the moment of high modernism when various forms of abstraction were thought to be the paragon of artistic achievement, and when this consensus supported the neo-cultural politics of U.S. hegemony.
I am the second reporter, Alan A. Madrid. Moving forward, we will examine the ways in which the dominance of modernism came into question, whether in the new forms like happenings and installations or in a locations outside the North Atlantic that were though by many to be peripheral, we will pay close attention to the numerous forms that questioned modernist dogmas during the 1960s and to 1970s, including performance action, arte obrera, land art, artists, publication, social practice, and various modes of media art. The course will end by examining some of the many ways in which modernism has survived its supposed demise, whether on the art market, across the biennial circuit, or even in the experimental forms that would seem to have left it behind.
So, good day everyone. By the way, I'm Gilbolingo and I'm the reporter about the art since 1945, and this is continuation about the report. However, even as we tell ourselves this story about modernism, we will also be critically attending to its oversight. And surveying the broad range of pre-war modernism, we will ask how or why American critics like Clements Greenberg's privilege of formalist modernism over other possible definitions, consider how this other model might allow us to better grasp the interplay between different media or different art, technology, and mass culture. So, when possible, we will consider examples from film that were often overlooked by modernist critics, including dance, textile, and design. We will think critically about the role that exhibition and museum have played in popularizing and historicizing art. The course will pay especially close attention to the ways in which the international hegemony of modernism was consistent from its supposed margins, analyzing practices from Latin America, Eastern Europe, South and East Africa, and Sub-Saharan Africa. In doing so, it aims to revise our understanding of how this history might yet other in the present and future. So, in our learning objectives, this course aims to provide students with sustained exposure to many of the major works, movements, concepts, and debates in the arts of the last 7 years. In doing so, it seeks to develop not only their historical understanding, but also their analytical, interpretative, and communicative capacities. Students will read texts ranging from experimental artists' writings to criticism, arts history, and aesthetic theory. They will ask to engage a broad spectrum of arts form and to understand this work on their own terms as we will ask in their historical and cultural context. In class, discussion and writing assignments, students will be challenged to develop persuasive arguments that link aesthetic observation with close analysis, thoughtful interpretation, and defensible reasoning.